so often we talk about the narcissism of human beings and how we often feel like our worldview has to be everyone else's worldview. And so much winds up getting lost in translation in that shit.
One goal, one thing, one room, and that shit don't change. And it's certain real niggas do real fucking thing.
At times people be entering discussions and they don't have the range for the discussion. And more of us need to start being honest with ourselves when we don't. And I understand that's a hard thing because you don't want to feel like you're stupid. You don't want to feel like you're calling yourself dumb or what have you. And I'm not saying that you're dumb. I'm just saying that, like, through our experiences, through things that we learn, through things that we read, through people that we talk to or what have you, that's what builds your range within the topic. You know what I'm saying? Within acting, like, we all got degrees and shit, so like we got a lot of girth to talk about that. But we ain't got no range in fucking physics. Like this dude pronounced, he said, I would never, I forget how he put it, but he basically said I would never fuck with a trans woman or anybody that used to have a dick. I'm not here to talk about the specifics of that, you know what I'm saying?
There's a thin line between preference and phobia.
There's preference, there's prejudice within preference, there's so many things that go into this, but that became this whole talk of people saying, like you said, this is my preference, whoop-de-woo, people not understanding why trans people might feel offended by it, people not, it's like it was people saying that you can't make a person be with somebody that they're not attracted to, you can't call me phobic for that, like all that shit, and I'm just looking like, so much is getting lost in the translation, and a lot of people in this conversation don't have the range for it and aren't trying to open to have it.
Smile. When you see Malaysia, you instantly see the biggest smile.
Malaysia Booker's personality sparkles.
She's very infectious.
My name is Malaysia, and you can call me Lay.
Hey, best friend.
Out and proud. At 22, a beacon for other trans women in Dallas who admired her, like her self-appointed auntie, Jasmine.
I have been trans all these years, but I mostly lived in my house. She made me want to get out and live and just be visible.
But that visibility made Malaysia a target. In April, a minor fender bender escalating into a horrifying assault. A warning, it's difficult to watch. Bystanders capturing it all on video, quickly going viral. Malaysia later told police her attackers hurled transphobic slurs at her. This man was arrested for the beating. His lawyer tells us he intends to plead not guilty.
Tells me, Amy, I told you they hate us. Our own people hate us, they want us dead.
Imagine there's like two islands, right? One island, the people on this island want you to look at love in a manner of the body don't matter. You know what I mean? They want you to look at it as two souls recognizing each other and your body's just extra. You know what I mean? On this one island, you know what I mean? The genitalia is just extra. That does not, your sexual, your genitalia is not your identity. You know what I mean? That's the way they want, that's the way they look. They're looking at the world, and it should be like a more open view of things. Word. That's perspective. I understand that perspective, you feel me? Most people that on this island that's trying to debate with the larger island, which is the general consensus, which are taught that our genitalia is our identity, which are taught that gender and sex and all that. We get taught a lot of different other shit that's basically geared to the opposite of what this smaller island is going through. The unfortunate fact is the big island actually governs the small island. So the small island has to deal with the bigger island that's not getting it. But the bigger island has the privilege to be like, that's some weird shit, fuck y'all. And really leave y'all to be fending for yourself. And that's why to the small island, this is conversations that need to happen. But to the bigger island, it's like, whatever the fuck, and they can dismiss it, they can not take it in. And it's just trippy seeing that a lot of people, you need to understand that until somebody from, I say, the bigger island is ready to look at the topic within your lens, or at least even have the conversation of seeing it in that way, they will never be able to even go to talk about what might be offensive to you, or what might because like they're set. They see, oh, that's a man, period, till they see a trans woman, period. I don't care what the fuck you're saying. Love, then they got a dick, and that's it. They stop.
Most people confuse biological sex with gender. Biological sex refers to biological traits that are usually determined by chromosomes. Most people are born male or female, with some people being born intersex. Someone is intersex when they're born without the typical XX or XY chromosomes. So biological sex, which determines if someone was born male, female, or intersex, is determined right at birth. Gender identity, however, is different. Gender is a social construct. That's right, a social construct, used to characterize traits within a person. People have put these arbitrary ideas of gender onto virtually everything, from genitals, types of clothing, career paths, and even colors. Many see gender as real, determined at birth, or a binary split between masculine and feminine. Yet these gender markers are not determined by your biological sex. They are ideas that we tend to assign a person based on sex. However, put simply, gender is how you see yourself. Biological males are given the masculine gender of boy, and biological females are given the feminine gender of girl. This is known as assigned male at birth or assigned female at birth. Many people feel perfectly comfortable with their assigned gender based on biological sex. These people are considered cisgendered. If you are a cis male or a cis female, your gender identity matches your biological sex. But for some people, their assigned gender identity doesn't feel right. So when a person's biological sex does not line up with their gender identity, they're considered transgender. Many trans people feel uncomfortable with their genitals, feeling that it doesn't wholly represent their gender identity.
And none of us have patience with each other, so it's not like a lot of people even having the patience to break it down even in smaller bits, because we say this a lot. Everybody gonna be where you at.
Listen, however people choose to live their life, long as it's not hurting anyone, themselves, or anyone around them, who are you to say and judge, you know what I'm saying? How they go through life's journeys and how they live their life and who they choose to be with and not be with. The thing about life is that we're so concerned about how we project our own things onto other people, because the thing is we want to live through them, through the things they do. And some people are so bold and brave to be themselves that we want to live vicariously through them, or at least make them afraid like us.
Are afraid to be weird. So they want everybody to be like them because they're afraid to be weird.
They're afraid to be who they are. So,
People are afraid of, I think most people are afraid of stepping out of their comfort zones.
Very much so.
And stepping out of that comfort zone a lot of the times involves accepting people for who the fuck they are.
But seeing your own flaws, because sometimes if you're uncomfortable about it, you have to do some introspection as to why. As soon as certain white people hear racist, they check out. You know what I mean? As soon as certain people hear misogynist, they check out. When they hear a transphobic, it's like, oh, I'm not scared of trans people. Some of my best friends are trans. And it's like, y'all need to take in this. A person can, I can say something that's racist and not be intending to be racist. Mm-hmm. But that don't make what I said any less racist to the person, or prejudice or bigoted, however you want to say it, to the person that it impacted. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. People so afraid to be labeled that they just think that labels defines them. And on one end, some people use labels too quick. They be like, no, they be wank them too quick sometimes. But on the other end, we're so afraid to be hit with, no, maybe what I said was transphobic. They don't want to take the lick ever, or even try to understand why there is a lick to be taken. Maybe they're trying to say, you're not an evil person, you're not a bad person, but that thing you said is a bad thing.
It's an ideology. It's some kind of indoctrination that you're in.
Yes, and it's an offense, and I need to explain to you why this could be offensive to me. I'm not saying you're intending offense, but what people on the other end goes, oh, you trying to say I was fucked up, you trying to say I'm evil, and it's like, no. I'm not, and it's this clash.
We are all kind of homophobic, transphobic, racist,
bigoted, prejudiced. America,
indoctrinated, all fucked up, son. We all fucked up.
And that's another thing about having the reins for the conversation. If you're going to be the people that want to have this conversation, or whether you're a trans person, or a gay person, or a straight person, or a black person, what have you, you got to come into the conversation knowing that, you know what, we're all kind of a little fucked up.
Yeah.
So we got to be able to have a raw conversation. If somebody be like, this offends me, instead of getting defensive, how about you be like, okay, I know inherently America made me a little fucked up, so you know what, maybe I am wrong, but explain to me.
Malaysia is one of at least 18 trans women of color who've been killed this year alone. The real number likely higher. The data shows the trans identity of nearly 3/4 of victims is initially left out from police and media reports.
When you've been rejected by everyone that you supposedly love, you come here to find love and support.
And have you ever been verbally abused, physically abused out in the world?
I mean, once. I got raped 5 times, but that's something.
Bianca, that is not normal.
That's something.
But you just dismissively say, I was raped 5 times.
Yeah, because I don't want to give any emotion to it, because if you don't give anything to it, then it won't grow.
It makes those conversations more dire, but most of us on the privileged end, we have the privilege to check out or to not give a fuck. And like this, and that's a small, like one nigga I know always say, they just 0.2% of the community, like they don't matter. You know what I mean? They get this, like it's so funny how we can say that type shit while they like every time, it's like when we see black niggas get killed by cops, every time they see a trans woman killed by a bunch of black niggas again, that's them to them. You know what I mean? That could be me, that could have been me, that could be me on any given day. And for people be in our community living with that thought process and living like that, at a point, we gotta take some responsibility, bro, or bring some light and shed some light to be like, man, we all need to be more patient, especially the motherfuckers that are conditioned and indoctrinated to hate them. Mm-hmm. We need to do way more. It's so many times we come to this table, the motherfucking brown table talk, you hear me? And we have to say, nigga, more of us need to shut the fuck up because all I saw was people being defensive. And put your defenses down. Let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's talk, man.
I think we're gonna start talking more, but homophobia is just one of those layers in our shit to deal with that is just very, very thick. It's a thick ass layer. Mm-hmm. And it's gonna take us a long time to like really get to the bottom of that one.
And there's so many things that we aren't taught. Like there's certain things you should be taught from the beginning to try to understand.
Right.
And there's a lot of things that we aren't taught from the beginning to try to understand.
Yeah, like there is like fundamental problems. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That go even deeper than the homophobic part of it.
How we learn, how we
yeah.
see things, what we're taught in like inherently and unconsciously and shit.
Well, apparently this anti-discrimination law was voted down because some people claim it's just an excuse to allow guys in women's restrooms. You know, the theory is that men, in their relentless quest to watch women go to the bathroom, are going through years of hormones, surgery, changing their name, their wardrobe, coming out to their family, all for that big payoff of peeing in a room without urinals. I grew up with a mom and a sister, so like I know a little something about sharing a room, like a bathroom with women. It sucks. Nobody wants to hang out in there. Last week, I accidentally walked in on my mom on the toilet, and I don't think we're ever going to speak again.
Everything you know you were taught. Everything. What you think gender is, what you think sex is, every label that you know out of your mouth to say, you were taught.
So that talk about God.
So, but I'm just saying that don't mean you were taught right things. That don't mean everything that you were right just because you were taught it. Mm-hmm. So when someone brings a fresh perspective, there's nothing wrong with entertaining the perspective.
Because people identify with what they were taught.
Yeah.
Like it's not just what they were taught, it's them. It's them. Like it's what makes them who they are. Like it's the very like material of their fucking
their whole fiber, Without that, who are they?
And when you
without this kind of moral foundation.
Yeah, like you're basically tearing apart their entire existence.
That needs to be done a lot of times to niggas too. Enough of us don't ask ourselves that question, why I think this way? Or what if I'm wrong about this thing?
Right. Like introspection is scary shit. Like,
boy, you look at the man in the mirror?
That's like jumping into the fucking dark pit. Like people like normally don't look inward. Like that is something people don't do. Like people are very shallow.
And they project outwardly, but they won't look in.
Like they're like quite literally shallow, bruh. But like when it comes time for you to like really go deep in there, where you don't even normally go, you don't know what you looking for. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't even know what you're gonna find. You know, and like you say, dog, like when you trying to have these fucking hard combos, you find out some fucking demons in there that you never could really identify yourself with, or like wouldn't.
Oh, you don't want to
identify yourself
right
on like a normal day, but it's like it's there, like you found it.
Cause it's like what we say about being wrong. Sometimes it's okay, Cause like I know as much unpack as I've done to myself. I know I still got some homophobic ways within my brain. Same. I know I still have some transphobic ways within my brain. Mm-hmm. I know I still have some misogynistic ways within my brain. I know I have some prejudice shit. Like we all have levels of it, but you should be trying to build to get to your best self.
Yeah, open your mind.
You know what I mean? To get to your best self. So, but you gotta take those licks and accept it. So many people just don't know I'm perfect. Nothing about me is racist. Nothing about me is bigoted. Nothing about me could be homophobic. How?
You just can't see and hear. That's the only way you can be racist, dog. You are blind and deaf.
Or prejudiced in some manner. Like this whole everything builds you to be prejudiced against something.
Yeah.
One goal, one thing, one rule, man, that shit don't change. And it's real niggas do real fucking things.